How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. Let me start as usual by thanking all of you who posted questions making this video possible. Let's begin. Did you know Joey Constantino to be a member? Yes, Joey Blue Eyes is a Lucchese member who I was officially introduced to at the restaurant Enzo's in the Bronx. In your video about the Invisible Mafia, what part did the UK police play in Giuseppe Palermo's arrest? From what I was able to find out, the UK played a supportive but critical role in what led to Palermo's capture. The UK law enforcement worked alongside Italian authorities, Europol, and Interpol by contributing intelligence and logistical coordination, aiding the arrest. During your time in the life as a made man, did you or any other members or associates still use payphones to conduct business, or were they not used anymore? Payphones were pretty much obsolete. If you did come across one, 9 times out of 10, it was inoperable. I personally use another method, which I sometimes use to this very day, for my own reasons, which has nothing to do with crime, but I'll keep that secret to myself. You said that Patty was meeting with members of the outfit concerning air freight business. Can you speak in depth to what was going on? First of all, I didn't say that, so I can't speak about something that I've never said. During your time in the life, who would you say were the Lucchese's consistent rivals, and who were the consistent allies among the other families? Well, I would have to say that during my time, the Bananos were considered a consistent enemy, as a lot of problems took place with that family. Some members, like Big John, despised the Bananos. As a family, we were told by our administration not to do business with the Bananos unless it was fully to our benefit. And I would say that the Gambinos were considered an ally, but there came a time when there were issues that took place with them too. When you went to wakes in the Bronx or Westchester, what restaurants would you guys eat at? The only restaurant besides Enzo's that we went to was the Havana Cafe, which happened to be around the corner from the Lucchese Social Club. In the 2020 photo of Anthony Villani and the Lucchese administration taken at Jefferson Park in East Harlem, can you guess what's going on? Like maybe a sit-down between Villani and Barada. I would only be guessing about what they were meeting about. But regardless, it was important enough to have the administration present. I honestly wouldn't know what they were discussing. Do you think that after Matteo Messina Denaro's capture in 2023, the Mafia families of Palermo have taken back the power again? Matteo Messina Denaro was more of a symbolic leader of the Sicilian Mafia and considered the boss of the Trapani Mafia families, but not the boss of bosses in the traditional sense. Definitely the most influential among the other bosses. Palermo is considered the heartland of Sicilian Cosa Nostra and once dominated over the other families, but I don't believe that's necessarily the case in present day. I know a lot of wise guys go to church on Ash Wednesday. Was that supposed to help them believe they will be forgiven? Look, getting ashes in the shape of a cross on one's forehead alone will not help anyone be forgiven. And I can't speak as to why people go to church or what their faith is. If you're part of the mob, trust me, you're not in line with God. Did Michael DeSantis revisit any associates that had been put in limbo or blocked from induction when he became acting boss? As I've mentioned, when he first received the position, he revisited all of the guys that were on the shelf. I personally never heard of him revisiting any associates who've been knocked down for induction. He may have, and I just didn't hear about it. But at the time, for the most part, we knew everything that was taking place, so I doubt it. Does being a member guarantee you're untouchable? I heard that no one is supposed to touch a made member. While this is basically true, no one is supposed to put their hands on you. I believe this rule was more enforced years ago. During my time, I've heard of a few instances where members were hit. One was even hit with a glass. Who was Gambino member Angelo Fifi Grattalone an associate of before he became a member? When I met him years ago, he was an associate of Lee Fama. Did you ever meet Gambino member Charlie Boy Orello? If so, what was your opinion of him? I knew Charlie Boy well. He was always at the cigar lounge, and he was a nice guy and fun to talk with. He would always tell me that Big John was the worst hunter he ever met because he never caught anything. And I always liked Charlie Boy. You've been covering the Mafia in Italy a lot lately. What's your interest? Well, to start with, almost daily, there are arrests or another fugitive has been captured. But over and above that, they're the real deal over there. When you were inducted, you mentioned besides Anthony Guzzo, there was a third guy who belonged to Joe Cafe's crew, and he was injured. Who was it, and what was wrong with him? Patty Mucci was straightened out with us on that day, and he had a leg injury. I remember we were all squeezed in the backseat of a car, and I felt bad for him because of his leg. If you haven't liked this video yet, please take the time now and give it a like, as it helps with YouTube's algorithm. And for anyone who'd like to show appreciation for videos like this, or more importantly, because this channel's views is being manipulated by hackers, help me to continue making videos. You can donate with the Super Thanks icon down below or through the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. Let me quickly mention my blog, also called Sit Down News, especially for those of you, like myself, who still enjoy reading. It can be found at sitdownnews.com and is a paid subscription. Why do you think Joseph Massino allowed Anthony Indelicato to rejoin the Bonanno family after being released from prison in 1998? From what I understand, peace was made with Bruno's uncle, J.B. Indelicato, following the murder of Sonny Red, who was J.B.'s brother and Bruno's father. So most likely, Bruno was given a pass as well. At the time that Bruno was released, Massino was the Bonanno boss and must have felt secure enough to keep Bruno in the family and not have to worry. But keep in mind, if push came to shove, Bruno would have pushed his wig back, and that's a fact. Thoughts on Domenico Cutea? And during your time, did members of Big John's crew or other family members who were around when Cutea ran it make any comparisons between Cutea and Big John as far as competency? The answer is no, but I'll say this. There is no comparisons between Danny and Big John. On Big John's best day, he couldn't shine Danny's shoes, and the majority of the people know that. And for the final question, why do you think Patty De La Rosa no longer has an administrative position? And does it make you laugh that he doesn't? Let me start out by saying I couldn't care what Patty does or what position he has or doesn't have, and nothing about Patty makes me laugh. I knew he would never last in the position anyway. Knowing Patty the way I did, he showed his true colors, his narcissistic personality, which would never fly with Mikey or Georgie Neck. Patty's number one problem is he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. I've mentioned this in the past. Anytime I would tell Patty that I ran into someone who treated me very respectful, he always had the same response. Oh, that's because he knows you're close to me, which absolutely wasn't the case, but I just let him talk. In my opinion, Patty should call it a day, remain in Patty's world, and continue being the space cadet that he's always been.